Once upon a time, in the cozy town of Barksville, there lived a curious little dog named Frankie. Frankie was a small, fluffy, golden retriever with a nose for adventure and a tail that wagged at the slightest hint of excitement. One sunny morning, Frankie woke up to the chirping of birds and decided he would make it his mission to catch a feather from each bird in town. Frankie thought it was a brilliant idea, as feathers were soft, colorful, and, in his mind, treasures to behold. Frankie trotted out of his house and headed straight to the park, where all the birds liked to gather. As soon as he arrived, Frankie spotted his first bird, a chatty blue jay perched on a branch. Without a moment's hesitation, Frankie leapt into action and sprang towards the tree. The blue jay saw Frankie coming and let out a mischievous squawk before fluttering away, leaving a single bright blue feather drifting down. Frankie giggled, proud of his first catch, and tucked the feather into his collar. Ecstatic, Frankie decided to continue his quest, bounding from one end of the park to the other. He chased after a wise old owl but ended up with a brown feather caught on his ear. He scampered after a cheeky sparrow and snagged a small white feather between his paws. Frankie's collection grew and grew, red, yellow, striped, and speckled feathers all finding a place in his golden fur. But as he gathered more feathers, Frankie realized he couldn't move as quickly with his new fluffy adornments. Just then, Frankie spotted the grandest bird of all, a magnificent peacock, with a tail full of shimmering feathers that sparkled like jewels. Frankie's eyes widened with wonder, and he knew this would be the ultimate feather for his collection. But the wise peacock had been watching Frankie all day. As Frankie approached, the peacock opened its tail, creating a fan of brilliance that left Frankie awestruck. In that moment, Frankie understood that some feathers were best left on the birds. Frankie wagged his tail, barking happily as the peacock nodded kindly. Realizing his collection was quite spectacular already, Frankie decided it was time to head home. Back in his cozy little bed, Frankie laid out all of his feathers, creating a soft, colorful blanket that reminded him of his day of adventure. Frankie drifted off to sleep, dreaming of more escapades and feeling grateful for the friends he'd made along the way. And so, Frankie learned that sometimes the journey is far more precious than the treasures we collect. The end.